Hello everyone, welcome to SQL Edge, your channel to learn SQL Server in a simple and practical way. In the previous video, we covered the basic date functions like getDate, year, month, date name, and format functions. In this part 2 of this video series for the date functions, we will explore the functions that allow us to perform the date calculations, find the date differences, and convert the dates into a custom date formats. So let's see, we'll be going to use the same table what we have used in the previous demo, like for string functions and date functions part 1. We will continue with the using the same table employee data, which has the employees, hire dates, and birth dates columns into the table. Let's see some sample data first. I'm selecting the top 5 records to just to see how the data look like into the aim data table, right? So let's begin with the date arithmetic functions. So very first function is a DATEADD function. We can see the DATEADD function adds a date or time and date interval to a date, then in the result it will provide a new date, right? So any interval we can add or subtract from the using the DATEADD functions, right? So let's see. So the DATEADD function lets you add or subtract a specific time interval, right? So what is interval? We have seen in the previous video, interval can be month, year, day, hours, minutes, seconds, milliseconds, right? So the DATEADD function will let you add or subtract a specific time interval like days, months, or years to a date, right? So let's see the syntax for it. So the DATEADD function, it will accept 3 parameters, right? So just see the basic syntax first. So select, right? We use the DATEADD keyword in bracket. You can see here it is asking for 3 input values: interval, increment as an integer, and expression that is a date value. So interval is something like hours, minutes, seconds, date, or month and year, right? So we can use any interval. So I will just mention a generic formula here: interval, right? Then the second one is like what we have is a the specific date format, like the increment or decrement value, I would say. And third parameter is like a date value, right? Date value. So these 3 parameters it is required to use the DATEADD function. So let's see, by adding a 10 days to the today's date, what is the result we will get, right? So DATEADD function used to add or subtract a date or any interval from the given date. So we'll be using the given date as a today's date, right? So I want to add the day. Okay, how many days I want to add? I want to add 10 days, and in what date I want to add those 10 days is the today's date, which is nothing but the get date. So in the today's date, if I add 10 days, what will be the result? Like today is the 16th of October. After 10 days, it will be the 26th of October. So that should be our result when we execute the query. We could see it is giving me the result as a 26th of October. So not only the day, we can add any interval. Let's say I want to add month. I want to add the 2 months to the current date. So it will add the 2 months to the current date and it will give me the result as a 16th of December 2025, right? We could see it is adding the 2 months here, right? So same like a month, we can add the year as well to the current date. So if let's say I want to add the 25 years to the current year, for the year of the current date, it will give me the date of 16th October 2050, right? So we can add any interval like minute. Okay, like minute we can add seconds. Okay, minute it will asking for full keyword. Okay, or we can have that as a second as well. Millisecond, nanosecond, it can be any interval. So DATEADD function will give you the date or a new date by adding the value by given interval. If you specify the value in a negative value as an increment value, what will happen? It will subtract the date, right? It will subtract the interval from a given date. Let's say I will use -10 instead of +10, so it will give me the date which was 10 days before the today's date, like 6th of October. Same way, if I use the month as a -2, it will give me the date of 16th of 16th of September and August 16, it will give me the dates, right? So when instead of positive, if you provide the negative value, it will be used to subtract the given interval from the provided date, right? So we can see here is a practical example with the employee data. We are using DATEADD function and adding the 30 days to the higher date. So what is the date after 30 days we'll be getting, that will be there. And if you use the year as a 1, increment value 1 to the higher date, it will give you the date of a later 1 year from the today's higher date, right? So we can see here after 30 days what is the date, and after 1 year what is the date we'll be having from the higher date, right? So instead of get date, we are using the column name here to get the values from that column, right? So we have added 30 days and 1 year to the each employee's higher date, right? If you add the negative values, this dates will be subtracted, right? That we have seen with the demo examples here, right? Let's jump to the second functions, right? Date difference functions. So as the name suggests, date difference function is used to calculate the difference between two dates, right? So whenever we want to calculate the difference, it should have the two dates definitely. So let's see the syntax first, what it is required parameters we'll be having, right? So select date difference, and in bracket now you could see the input parameter values what we need to supply. It is asking for interval. So interval is nothing but in which format you want to calculate the difference, whether you want the difference in years, months, hours, seconds, or milliseconds. So that will be the first parameter. Then we have the okay, if you see, if I remove this, it will show me all the results set, all the input parameter. The second is the starting date and third is the ending date. So first we have the interval, second will be the start date, and third one is a end date. So this will give me the difference between the start date and end date with the some interval. Okay, so let's utilize the same queries here. Okay, and we will just see the difference of the result set. Okay, so let's see. Okay, I want the interval as a day, month, and year. Now instead of higher date, okay, instead of the 10, I want to give the start value. So what is the start value? I want to use the higher date as a start value. So this query will give me the result set of each employees, okay, and it will give me the difference between the dates, okay, difference in days from the higher date to the today's days. How many days has been completed since the employee has been joined? Okay, it is asking for two parameters. Let's say higher date, okay, day, higher date, and employee dates. Okay, it is not, I have not changed the function name, so it should be date difference, not the date add, right? So we can see it is giving me the difference between the days. Okay, if you want to see all the data, we can use star then calculated value. Okay, and it will give me for this employee these many days has been completed since he has joined in 2018. So this will give me the result in a number of days. If I want to see the year, I can change this to the year, and difference between the higher date and today's date in years, it will give me the result. So he has been joined in 7 years before, 10 years before, and all, right? So it will give me the difference between those two. Okay, so similar to this, we can use any interval like minutes, hours, seconds, milliseconds, and all, right? Let's see some sample example here. I want to see the age at joining. So, okay, what is the age of the employees when he has joined? So what is my start date? Start date is birth date, and higher date is something when the employee was joined. So it will give me the difference in years between the birth date and higher date. So it will give me the age when the employee was joined. We can see employee was joined at 28 because he has a birth in 1990. Since then he was joined in 2018. So total 28 years was the age when he was joined. So similar to this, now we can see the difference of age, like age at the time of joining for each of the employees, right? So this will tell you like how was the employee was old when he was joined the company, and how many days it's been since their hire date. So this will give me the difference between the hire date and the today's date in days, right? The next function we have is a EO month function. So EO month function is used to get the last day of the month. So it will give you the last day of the current month, right? Sometimes we need to know the last day of the month. For example, to calculate the payroll or generate the monthly reports or to generate the revenue reports by every month, right? So we don't know what maybe the scenario will be coming into in a real-time work. So to find out the last day of the current month, we use the hire date, we use the EO month functions. So EO month and date we need to pass, it will give you the last day of the month, right? So if I want to see the last day of the current month, what we use, select EO month, and we need to pass. So what is the date we need to pass? Let's say get date. I want to see the last day of the current like today's date. Okay, so it will give me the last day as a 13th of October 2025. So okay, we can pass two parameters here if you want to see the result. One day's like 1 month, like the end of month for the next month, I can add one. It will give me the last day of the next month. If I add two, it will give the last day of the second month from the today's month, like December. If you give the value in a negative, it will give the last day of the month, which was previous to previous month's last date, like August's last day, 31st of August, right? So end of month function is used to get the last day of the current month or the previous month when we supply the second argument as well, right? Then we have the next function called date from parts. Okay, if you want to build a date manually from a different intervals like year, month and day values, we use date from parts, right? And also if you want to have some precision like hours, minutes and second, that means we need the timestamp, we use date time from parts. So these two functions are used to construct a date by supplying the interval values, right? So if I use select date from parts and I'm supplying three values, it will give me the a date value as a 1510, right? If I supply the timestamp as well, like minutes, hours, seconds, milliseconds, it will give me the customized date with a timestamp as well, right? So this is helpful when you are constructing dates dynamically from separate columns or the variable values, right? So date from parts is the one of the function we can use. Then the next date functions we have is a switch offset or two date time offsets. These are advanced functions and very rarely used. When we use these functions, we will be able to get the timestamp offset between the different time zones. Okay, so we can use these functions to see the local time, okay, in comparison with the UTC time, right? So switch offset will give me the date time offset of 5:30 as IST time. So if I am working in UTC time and I want to see what is the IST time, so I can pass the UTC date, okay, and I can use the plus 5.30 as IST standard time, and it will give me the date, okay, the current date and time. So this is the original time, okay. Currently we are having original time, so I can just change this. Instead of sys date time, I can get here get UTC date. Okay, so this will be my original date, and with switch offset I can get what is the, this is the original UTC date and this is the UTC date time for India, right? So it will give you the date time offset values. Then next function we have ISDATE. So ISDATE is again one of the important date function to validate whether the supplied value is having a valid date format or not, right? So we can use ISDATE function to check whether the given value is date or not, right? So these functions check whether a given expression or given value is a valid date or not, right? So these are the this will accept one parameter, which is a date value. So let's say if I want to see whether this is a date, I can check this. If I want to check this is the date or not, I can check. If this is also a date, it will give the result, right? So ISDATE function will give 1 or 0 value. 1 is for valid date, 0 is for invalid date. Now second date, it has not considered as a valid date because the date will be always should be passed in a YYMMDD format. So it is considering 15 as a month, but 15 is not a valid month. We have only 12 months. So it is not giving the result as a 1, it is giving as a 0 because this date is not a valid date. Right, so this ISDATE function is used to validate whether the given expression is a valid date or not. Right, then last, the functions of this video are like convert and cast. These are used to change the date format to the customized format, right? So we can customize the format using cast and convert functions. This cast function is used with string values as well, but today we are going to see the use of the convert function to convert the date into a specified format, right? So I'm going to convert the higher date into the varchar data type, and 103 format is used to convert this into the style called DDMMYY. Okay, initially in table what we have is we have the date in a YYMMDD format, but that too we have the hash in between, not hash, it is a dash in between, right? Hyphen we are having, so we are converting that to this MMDDYY using this 103 style. 106 style is used to convert that to the wordings as well, and 120 style is used to convert the date into the minutes, hours, seconds as well. So convert function we can use to convert the different style codes to show the dates as per the region or as per the requirement. For example, 101 will give you the MMDDYY in the US format, 103 will give you the DDMMYY in the UK format, and 106 shows the month name into the date, right? 106 will show you the month name into the dates, right? Let's see one of the example to use the date difference function to calculate the age of the employees. Right, we know the date difference functions will take 3 arguments. One is an interval, second is the starting date, and third is a end date. So if you provide the start date as a birth date and end date as a today's date, like as in get date, we will get the current age of the employees. Right, we can see the employee is 35 years old, 36-year-old, or 35-year-old. So using the date difference functions, we will be able to find out the age of the employees by comparing the birth date with the current date and time, right? So this will quickly give us the each employee's age using the date difference between the birth date and the today's date, right? Let's summarize the this session. We have seen multiple functions in the second part of this date functions video. DATEADD function is the first one, which is used to add or subtract the intervals from a date. Date difference functions to calculate the difference between the two dates. Then we seen end of month functions, EO month, which is used to get the month end date, date from parts, and date time from parts. Those two functions to use to build the custom date. ISDATE is used to validate the given date. Convert and cast functions to format the dates into a customized format. And even we can use the switch offset to have the date created with the timestamp offset, right? So date functions, with this we have covered all the date functions in the SQL Server. Keep in mind, date functions are extremely important in data analytics, reporting, and the ETL operations, right? So that's all for the today's video. From the next video, we will starting the next set of SQL Server system functions called mathematical functions or aggregate functions, right? So stay tuned. If you found this video useful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends, and stay tuned for upcoming videos. We will move to the next SQL aggregate functions or mathematical functions. Thank you for watching and keep learning with SQL Age. Thank you everyone.